two Instagram accounts, which is one that is my public one and one that is my private one.
Mhm.
And I kind of find myself spending more time on my private one whenever I do need that break of homework or I'm too stressed out. I go on my private account. And that is an account where only like 50 people follow it. I only follow 50 people.
Mhm.
It's like most of my, like all of my close friends. And we just share whatever we want.
Hmm.
There is no judgment zone. You can post a picture of your foot and people will like say, great pic.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that is something that I feel like it's a very genuine interaction because it's people that you do hang out with. I mean, you tend to hang out with and that are in your close circle. And also if you want to complain, no one's going to tell you. Like people are going to be more I guess they'll care more, which is because they're your close friends. But if you had a bad day and you want to post a picture of whatever happened with a caption, with a long caption, I'm sure that my close friends would read it. But if I posted it on my real Instagram, people would just scroll past and there's no interaction.
Hmm. Wow. These are two vastly different virtual worlds that you're describing. And it's funny because you didn't even mention this the whole conversation up until now. And you just used the phrase real Instagram to refer to your public one.
Yes.
So I find that interesting because it seems like the private one that's just for, I guess, friends and family actually confers a lot of positivity. I mean, from your description earlier, I would have thought that you couldn't post things that are more real or are less perfect looking or however you want to describe it. But it sounds like you can in just this alternate one that
hmm
you only thought about later on.
Yeah. I've had my second Instagram for like a couple years now, and it is like a creative outlet for me. However, it's also kind of like you can't let yourself get too obsessed with it since it it will become the other Instagram, if that makes sense. Like they will end up being the same thing.
Hmm.
So it is more genuine if you kind of let it be and just share whatever you feel like sharing and not necessarily because you feel like you have to.
Hmm. I don't know if you ever thought about this, but do you feel like one day you will like delete your public Instagram, like when you're like 30 or something like that?
You after yes, I think about this all the time. However, it is very hard for me, not necessarily to delete it, but to kind of live without it because I think I am in a career path. My major is advertising
Hmm.
where creativity is a big thing.
Hmm.
And they're not only looking at your LinkedIn page. Like whatever advertising agency that is looking at me
Hmm.
is not just looking at my portfolio, they're looking at my LinkedIn, they're looking at my Instagram, they're looking at everything. They want to see who I am and like what my creative, like what I can do with whatever I'm given.
Hmm.
So if I have no social media persona, that kind of like puts me behind somebody that has a better one.
Oh, interesting. This is very interesting because I own a marketing company, so I would basically hire somebody like you, and so I'm kind of listening to the other side of it. Um, and you're right that I do look at I don't hire anymore, but the team that does hire, the recruiting team, um, I think they, like me, will look at everybody, like all the social media available, and if there is something creative, that's great. I would not say we look at it as like this major thing, but if we can see a side of somebody that's like really interesting and shows off like a talent, like if you were taking really cool photographs or something, I think that would be a plus. But it's not like the primary thing I look at. But I don't own an advertising agency. That is a little bit more
Mhm.
like often consumer oriented, where you want to have like campaigns that are really photography oriented and stuff, I'm doing more like boring businessy type of campaigns. But
My advertising professor said, if you can't advertise yourself, if you can't promote yourself, then what makes me think that you can promote somebody else?
I'm going to take that in. Give me 1 second. It sounds right. It sounds obvious, but I want to think about it critically for a moment. Well, if your role is promoting, like if you were like a publicist, I would agree with that. There are different types of there are different roles within advertising. If you're like an analytics person and you're just looking at like the data behind the campaign and analyzing trends and stuff, then it wouldn't be necessary. But if you are a creative, then I suppose that does make sense.
Mm-hmm. And I've tried to like the analytics side of advertising because
Mm-hmm.
I know that's where the money is. That's where the
Mm-hmm.
real like fancy jobs are. But I am more attracted to the advertising creative aspect.
I see. Okay, so it does hold true for you, and I could see that. Okay, your answer there in terms of the public Instagram mattering. So you put for some reason I had the impression that you mostly do like selfies and stuff like that. But are you putting like are there creative, interesting photographs there?
Mm, I wouldn't say creative,
Mm,
but I also wouldn't say all I do is post selfies either. I think there's like I don't really post really that much. I just feel like there is a chance of me in the future for me to branch out and actually post things that would make my Instagram look nicer or make it like just like a little addition to whatever other things that I have to offer
mm-hmm,
on top of my portfolio, resume, LinkedIn.
mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, it's not necessarily, oh, we're hiring based off of your Instagram. But at
Right.
the same time, I would rather it look nice.